Küresel E-İhracat Zirvesi'nin ikinci gününde Eyüp Auditorium'unda günün ikinci yarısında sizlerle birlikteyiz. E-ticaret sektörü için bir başka hedef pazarla devam edeceğiz. Bu sefer Amerika'ya gidiyoruz. Bölgeden uzmanların yer aldığı tartışma e-ticaret pazarlarının dinamik büyümesini, işletmeler için önemli fırsatları ve bu manzarada karşılaşılan engelleri bugün burada bu oturumumuzda ele alacağız. Oturumun moderasyonunu gerçekleştirmek üzere güzel alkışlarınızla sahneye Mega Merchant kurucusu ve CEO'su Sayın Yaman Alpata'yı alkışlarla davet ediyorum. Hoş geldiniz.
Hoş bulduk.
Merhabalar. Konuşmacılarımızı da teker teker sahneye alacağım. E-ticaret alanında tanınmış bir lider, girişimci ve yazar. Brezilya E-Ticaret Derneği AB.com'un sınır ötesi operasyonlar direktörü Sayın Rafael Sant'Anna geliyor alkışlarınızla. Dijital dönüşümü yönlendirmek için yapay zekayı satış stratejileriyle entegre etmeye odaklanan Celia Full Commerce'ın kurucusu ve CEO'su Sayın Angela Vicente geldiler. Ve Wayfair.com'daki halı ve zemin kaplamaları iş kolunun başında bulunan ve yıllık 800 milyon dolarlık bir işi yöneten Sayın Devin Zandanella sahnede.
Okay, can we start? All right, let's start.
Yes.
All right, we have limited time and we have a lot of things to discuss. I have three very important guests with me today, and we'll talk about Latin America and also the America. So let me quickly introduce why I'm here. So I'm the founder of the Mega Merchant, and also I'm also serving in the board of the ETID, which is the organization which we do the organization here, the E-commerce Association. So they've selected me for this panel because I also had worked in Brazil and lived and worked in Brazil for almost a year. While I was working for Alibaba, and I was responsible for the AliExpress global expansion team. So that's why we'll talk again about Brazil and the challenges, opportunities for Turkish brands. And then later on we'll go to Devon and we'll talk about Wayfair. Wayfair is like, as you guys know, a very strong marketplace in US. But first start with Brazil. We will have also presentations and that will be served by our colleagues, our panelists. So my first question is go to Rafael from ABCom. ABCom is also like you can think of equivalent of ETID, ETIT in Turkey. So they also is a non-profit organization and basically overseeing the whole e-commerce ecosystem in the region and working for the development. Can we get, by the way, the presentations also on the board? Yeah. So Rafael, as the representative of ABCom, I would like to ask you two questions. One question is basically the market size, opportunity, the community of e-commerce in Brazil. So I know it's like one of the fastest developing e-commerce markets. It's far away from Turkey, and there are a lot of challenges, by the way. Not only for Turkish sellers, but also for Brazilian sellers as well. So the first question is to understand the opportunity. So our first question is to understand more about ABCom. And the second question related to that is the e-commerce ecosystem and e-commerce market and the growth in Brazil and Latin America. We need to have some ideas because we know some numbers about US, we know numbers about Europe, but I'm sure that the community here is not super knowledgeable about Brazil. So let's talk about this first, and then second question would be, what are the main challenges for a non-Brazilian brand, or let's say specifically for a Turkish brand, to enter the Latin American markets starting from Brazil?
Excellent. So first of all, thank you, Yaman. Thank you, IGEXX, for the invitation for this such amazing event. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Angelo, more than my partner, is a friend of mine. And Tevan, nice to meet you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to join this stage with you. So, Yaman, as you already told a little bit about ABICON. ABICON is the Brazilian E-commerce Association. It's a public organization, non-profitable organization, actually. And the objective, the value proposition of ABICON is to support brands and retailers, since for small one to biggest company, enterprise, in the digital ecosystem environment in Brazil. Legal contests, marketing, technology, service, supply. That is our role, that's our value proposition in ABICON. And also, I became this year, beginning of the year, director of cross-border at ABICON, because since 2021, end of 2021, beginning of 2022, I launched eCross. This is my company. It's a B2C e-commerce cross-border technology for Latin America. So that's why now I'm this new role. In terms of potential, let's go this one. So Brazil, of course, is aimed on tracking to become the top 10 biggest market in e-commerce in the next few years. Now the number shows us that this year we will achieve around $150 billion. But in terms of let's say cross-border, what is the main? I used to say the demand and desire already exists. Everyone wants to access different brands, different products. So in terms of potential, we are facing for 2028 more than $20 billion for in Latin for cross-border. Of course, Brazil is the biggest one. Now almost 30% of the volume is in Brazil. But if you include Chile, Mexico, and Colombia, we can cover around 88% of the total addressable market.
Let me quickly add something here. Especially, for instance, in these countries, Chile, Colombia, maybe not in Brazil, but the Turkish series are super well known.
Yeah.
So the Turkish characters, the TV series, soap operas are very popular. I'm not sure about like Brazil, but Chile, Colombia, and all the other countries are the Turkish brands. The community, the people know the Turkish brands, etc. So I recall that before pandemic in Chile, one of the best-selling brands was De Facto, for instance, and that's basically due to they're well-known. We don't know them. We don't know this fact, but this is a fact. The Turkish, fashion especially, and the Turkish products are quite well-known and well appreciated in the region.
Yeah, and when I took the flight to come here, I was impressed. The flight was totally full with Brazilian people.
Yeah.
So for me, the message is Brazil is coming to Turkey. Why not go to Brazil?
Right.
So that's for me was a message that I come. So anyway, what is the reason that someone wants to buy abroad, buy a cross-border? Now, the research showed to us that the first one is increased portfolio, the wide selection. Products not available in Brazil. The third one is lower price. Was the first year that lower price was not the top of the list. And logistics is the first year that logistics is not included in the top 3 reasons. Logistics now became the number 6 reason that the people buy abroad, depending on the logistics. So, but goes to the opportunity that we have in Brazil. For me, the first, always the question is how do I assess a new market? How can I do that, assess a new market? For me, first, either you decide to start D2C or B2C, international expansion has to be on the top of the list of the company agenda. The first thing has to be there. To give you guys some figures, important numbers, for example, in Europe and US, cross-border, e-commerce cross-border represent between 28 and 34% of the total GMV. Brazil now is 5%. Yep. That is increase year over year. Another important figure is Shopify, is the biggest front SaaS platform in the world. 18% of the Shopify's GMV globally is made by e-commerce cross-border worldwide. So another information that I would like to share with you guys in terms of category. What is the most purchased category in Brazil? Fashion, of course. Electronics, personal accessories, electronics, beauty. Now is the most category that the people wants to buy in a cross-border. The second question is, for me, let's go to this. Again, as founder and CEO of eCross, we are building our solution to provide, to enable brands to access Latin American markets from anywhere now to Brazil. First thing that we have to deep dive is important is to understand the main difference between B2B and D2C from legal perspective, regulatory perspective, and cost efficiency. On the left side, we have formal, let's say, import or formal export to Brazil. You have a lot of taxes, we have a lot of costs involved. But the minimal requirements, you have to open a legal entity in Brazil, you have to have a local bank account, and also some of products you have to register on the local agents, such as Anvisa, E-Metro, such of.
Just like one quick question: Is it like easy to open a company, a local company in Brazil?
No.
Yeah.
Even for us, because the Brazilian guy is not easy. But
so did that actually basically like stress out the importance of the merchant of record solution?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's on the right side of the screen, the G2C cross-border. You have less taxes, even if the percentage could sometimes scare us at the first moment, but you have less taxes, you have less cost composed on the channel. And you don't need to have a local legal entity, you have to find someone that is the merchant of record, has the merchant of record solution to be the financial intermediary between who is buying, to the shopper, local shopper, to the foreign company. Yeah. The advantage of this model compared both, zero additional.
Can you just like name one of the top marketplaces?
Yeah, well, Mercado Livre.
Yep.
Magalu.
Yep.
Amazon.
Cenova.
Cenova. Cenova. And the top 5 is Ali. No, Magalu.
Shopee.
Magalu.
Shopee and AliExpress. Maybe.
Yeah. And
just like an important aspect here, you have seen that in this IGEXX event, we have more than 30 marketplaces all around the world, except Brazilian ones. We contacted, for instance, Mercado Livre and Magalu and other marketplaces as well. They basically told us it will be better if you have the TPs or trade partners or full commerce companies, as it's named in Brazil, so that you can enter easily, because talking to us is one thing, but more importantly, you should talk to trade partners or to full commerce companies, which is being basically represented here. So that's why instead of marketplaces, to be more effective, we onboarded actually to this panel two of our colleagues. So that will connect us to the marketplaces.
Yeah. So let's keep second. Let's remove the barrier now regarding the D2C regulation. Yaman asked me last week about the regulation in Brazil. It's not so, let's say, for D2C cross-border, it's not so complex currently. Yeah. It's changed recently. You are allowed to sell a product sent to Brazil until $3,000 in this model, and you pay import tax 60% and local federal taxes that we call ICMS 70%. But 1 year ago, exactly 1 year, the government launched a program called Remessa Conforme, that who is certified by Remessa Conforme have an advantage with products up to $50. You pay 20% of import tax, but keep 70% ICMS.
Yeah. The audience doesn't see it actually because it's the slide here, kind of just behind you, the numbers. But as a recap, the $50 is an important barrier. So if we sell items below $50 and on the registered platforms to the Brazilians, then we pay less import taxes, and this process is quite seamless.
Yeah, and even the product is above $50, now they have a new benefits. It's 60%, but you have a deduction of $20 on taxes that on the whole cost, it's significant because you are adding percentage on that. So that is the new regulation currently in Brazil. Third, make your choice. Regarding the business model, there is no right and wrong. B2B in advance, start for B2B, put in the local inventory, or start by D2C. Depend of the company's moment that you are. Make your choice. 4, research and choice your local partners. That is important also. To provide a local shopping experience, you have to work with local partners, tech provider, service provider, sales channel that fits with your product category, with your type of customer, the profile of customer that you want to achieve. Because normally people, I want to sell Mercado Libre, but you are a fashion company. I don't know if Mercado Libre fits with your product. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm not saying yes. Research. Do your research, but first look to local partners that can provide it for you. And again, please, now considering me, now I'm the director of cross-border at Abicon, now as the bridge between Turkish industrial and Brazil, as well in the other country in Latin America. If I can support you guys via Abicon or eCross, please, you are very welcome.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's move on to Angelo.
Okay.
So the other question would be about the logistics. So always sellers, brands are concerned about logistics.
Sure.
Backwards and forward. So and Brazil is like a very diverse country in terms of logistics, and I also have dealt with a lot of logistics challenges because the sellers are somewhere else, the consumers are somewhere else. So connecting them requires significant logistics infrastructure. Sure. Yes, cross-border is one way, but still distributing the goods in the country is another challenge. So how do you see the challenges and the solutions in this very diverse region of Latin America?
Sure. If you don't mind, I'll stand. I won't talk
Please.
by me, but I think it's better to explain some of the diagrams here. So I divided, before goods are cleared through customs on that side, and after goods are cleared, which is already in Brazil. So the Turkish retailers, they have three ways to export to Brazil. They can do direct, using, for example, the D2C cross-border through e-cross. They can export to Brazil regular, and then have a warehouse or a partner over there, or they can do through the US, which is something that was considered when we came in to export the content.
One thing again here, like the reason why we're highlighting here US is that I know that a lot of Turkish companies have also companies or warehouses in US as well. So that's why that's also like one important opportunity for us. Not doing always cross-border from Turkey to Brazil, that might have a lower volume in terms of logistics and not maybe efficient, but we can also consider doing cross-border from our US companies to Brazil.
And it also depends if you have stock available in the US, which is one of the main markets, and then it's not selling for some reason, then you have another market to export from there to Brazil, which was one of the considerations that we have before the panel. Yeah. So after the goods are cleared, you have two ways of establishing a branch office from your own in Brazil, or you can use a full commerce entity. And then once you have your branch office, you can either have by yourself or through a full commerce entity. I won't have time to explain what is full commerce right now, but I'm going to be in another panel session solely, and then I'll speak a little bit about the service that are the components of the full commerce, okay? Which is basically, we handle everything from the e-commerce journey until delivering the goods to the end customer. And how we can do that through the branch office? We can sell to wholesalers, and they sell to end customers, or, which is this journey, or we can do a direct sale from the full commerce to the end customer, or we can use the marketplaces in Brazil to sell to the end customer. As Yaman mentioned, why the marketplaces told us, or the entity who invited them to be here, to consider a third party or a partner to be here, because it's not easy to operate the marketplace. And that's exactly what Celia does. Having the assortment available and having the ads and placing the orders through a fulfilled by, it's one model which you consider to have your stock inside of the marketplace structure. On the other side, the orders that come from the marketplace goes through our distribution center. So we have those two ways to operate. I will explore a little bit more on the right side of the details to respond to questions on challenges and solutions. So if you're Turkish retailers considering to enter the market in Latin America and Brazil, which is the main market, what we should consider here. So basically, your branch office will sell to another company, which is the B2B2C. So you have one company here selling to another who will resell to end customers. This is one way that you consider these guys as distributors, okay? Another way, you could sell from your branch office, once you have your company established in Brazil, to end customers. It can be a company, it can be a person, okay? And then you can also consider the full commerce entity to buy and resell, which is they're buying from the branch office and reselling to the market. Why would you consider to do that journey? Because sometimes you don't want to compete with your own distributors. And then you create someone to be the pilot of your e-commerce journey on behalf of you. And that's what the full commerce does for the main manufacturers throughout Brazil, okay? And then we have a last, okay, I need to go back now, okay, sorry. I don't know if you can see, but here in the bottom, which is the last journey, you have two ways to sell through the marketplace. So the fulfilled by marketplace, which could be through Amazon, FBA, or through Mercado Livre, you ship your goods, your assortment into their distribution centers, okay? And then on the other hand, if you pay a commission the full commerce company holds your inventory in their facilities. And then they ship out using the orders collected through the marketplace to end customers. And then to give you an idea about pricing and costs, let me go back just a little bit because I forgot to explore most of the challenges. Basically here, we do have limited network in Brazil. 80% of the market is concentrated in southeast and south part of the country. That means roads and air freight has a limited offer, okay? So if you're willing to sell high volumes, you should consider southeast and south part of Brazil, okay? The complex tech integration with local partners. If you're willing to be there, you need to have a hub to be connected to the marketplaces. You need to have an acquirer to be able to do the transactions through credit card, through Pix, which is a Brazilian way, or invoicing, or whatever the journey requires. You need to have multiple fulfillment centers. So why? Because of the pandemics, most of the distribution centers are located outside of the main centers. But what we learned from the consumer behavior change after the COVID hit, we want to receive the goods within the day, within 2 hours, within 4 hours. I'm not joking. I was talking to someone here, Happy, which is the grocery shop, is delivering in 10 minutes. And they give you coupons and discounts if they don't deliver in 10 minutes. It's crazy how they access the assortment and what type of products we want, which is close to our zip codes. So you need to have micro-fulfillment centers who is able to see the demand and also who is supplying that demand, okay? We have limited, let's say, reliable last-mile delivery providers, which is basically the connection and integration between the micro-fulfillment and the consumer. And all of us, we need to deliver profitability. And then I will explore how those costs impact in details throughout the chain. And the hurdles that you need to overcome as a seller, customer service. Imagine if you sell something in Brazil that the customer needs to return. How would the customer return to Turkey after you already clear the goods, you pay the taxes? So that's when you start thinking about building a local entity in Brazil. The second thing is pricing. How do you enter the market in Brazil? And then I'm going to show here something to be very clear to you. What are the costs that you need to consider? There are a lot of compliance requirements. I was talking to a cosmetics company today in the morning. We have, for aging products, for some acids, Anvisa needs to be, you need to certify your products through Anvisa, which can take more than a year to be able to sell locally for specific products. For grocery, the same thing. And then some of the products that have electronics embedded to its solution, you have to do the same thing through Metro, which can take less, maybe 2 or 3 months, okay? Depending on the item. And then the next two ones and the last, you're trying to create a brand to expand globally. So if you're customizing your offerings, you need to experiment what type of journeys. If you're hiring influencers, Google, Bing, whatever the journey is to acquire customers, you need to spend money. And most of the time, it will require time for you to understand which channel performs best, okay? And the last one is double taxation, which is basically if you're selling to someone who is reselling, you are increasing taxes along the chain, which can make the final product not feasible at the end in terms of P&L, okay?
Okay.
I
have to cut.
Okay, please.
Yeah, because like we need to also spare some time for David.
Okay, great.
We've seen the challenges. Okay, there are a lot of challenges, but let me and the solutions are basically instead of doing everything or trying to do everything by ourselves, is working with the full commerce companies or like partners in Brazil. And I want to highlight one two good news here is that the Ministry of Trade is supporting this journey, especially to the journey to the Brazil. So, according to the new e-commerce initiative and new e-commerce supports, government incentives, the Brazil market is being supported by 70%. So, and that support basically includes the commissions that we pay to the platforms, the commission, the budget that we spend, or the money that we spend for cross-border or fulfillment fees, and also advertising. So all of them are being supported by 70% by the government. So when you spend, you get 70% back from the government. On top of this, on top of all of these, there are two countries where specifically the Ministry of Trade is supporting also trade partners. And at the end of the day, the trade partners are not doing this for free. They partner with you, but also they have their own fees. The Ministry of Trade and the Exporters Union basically, it supports also the fees that you pay to the full commerce companies, to the trade partners by 70%. That's in Brazil, that's in China, not in US, not in Europe, not in UK, not in Middle East, not anywhere else of the world, but in India, in Brazil, and in China, they've been supported. So there are like a lot of challenges and a lot of opportunities, but we talked about opportunities, and the challenges are also obvious. But there is a solution, and we have the country partners here to support with the solutions, and also the Ministry of Trade is very much willing to support Turkish brands to explore Brazil and Latin America, obviously. All right. I have to now switch to Devon and about the Wayfair. She has just came from Kayseri, right?
Yes.
All right. And moving to Denizli tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And
So it's a very productive travel for her.
Yes.
And Devon is representing here one of the largest marketplaces of US, which is Wayfair, and basically it's specifically in home and furnishing categories, even like challenging Amazon, if I'm not mistaken, in various categories. So let's talk about a little bit on the potential on Wayfair for the Turkish brands.
Yes, absolutely. Can I grab this?
Sure. Sorry.
No, of course. So exactly, Wayfair is focused in the U.S. specifically on the home market. It's about an $800 billion market, both in U.S. and Western Europe, where Wayfair has presence. Today, we have about 22 million active customers. We have over 20,000 different suppliers that we work with, both in the U.S. and worldwide. We have a big supplier base, a big employee base as well. And so there's a lot of opportunity for Turkish companies to get involved and work and sell on Wayfair as well. We think there's a big opportunity, particularly in, how do you do this?
This one.
Okay, thank you. When we look at the market today, Wayfair is about a $12 billion business, which is a really small part of the overall potential market, but we're growing consistently. We're excited that about 25% of the furniture market in the US is already online, and that share has been steadily continuing to grow, particularly after the pandemic. And so there's a lot of potential for us to share in that growth trajectory. Some of the big opportunities when it comes to Turkish suppliers working with Wayfair are across the supplier services that Wayfair offers, our customer service, the overall shopping experience that Wayfair delivers, and the fulfillment options as well. So we've seen a lot of growth in the supplier base. Back in 2015, we had about 7,000 suppliers, and that has grown to over 20,000 today. And we would love to see Turkish suppliers represent more of that share. One other note, when it comes to the Wayfair business, we Both have the brand Wayfair.com, and then we also have specialty brands as well, Joss & Main, Birch Lane, and All Modern. And then we have a luxury e-commerce brand as well, Paragold. And so I've both seeing in Kayseri and meeting throughout the conference so far, there's a breadth of different products across the quality scales, across the desired customer base. And so within the family of brands at Wayfair, there's opportunity depending on whether you have high-end luxury or great mass market products as well. And when it comes to being able to tap in and leverage Wayfair, it's really potential across our customer shopping experience, the delivery, and the customer service as well. And so when you think about getting started with Wayfair, these are a lot of the opportunities that you're able to unlock, both with our own fulfillment delivery, the fulfillment that you have available within the US, and then the end customer experience to ensure that the journey went well for our consumer base. I know there was also
that was like a great introduction. So we understand the Wayfair now way better and the potential as well. So you mentioned that it's more about home and furniture, and this is actually where Turkey is the best in terms of quality and the price. So I think a lot of Turkish brands will qualify for Wayfair. Already, I know a few which sells on Wayfair successfully for years, and also supply to your private label products. For new starters, it always comes to the question of logistics and the fulfillment when we think about like large and bulky items like furniture. So how do you solve this problem? Can we assure our brands that their products will be taken care carefully, and how, for instance, they should think about the returns or like the damaged products, etc.
Yes, absolutely. The logistics is the key. So while we all know Amazon does an incredible job within their logistics network worldwide, Wayfair has been able to establish a really strong logistics network that really focuses on the big and bulky product, the furniture that most carriers don't like to ship because it is cumbersome, it's challenging, and we're able to ensure order perfect across the network that we have. And so Wayfair offers solutions for that, both starting at origin, so in Turkey, we're able to bring products starting in the Mersin port all the way through to the ocean freight. We have carrier solutions when it comes to getting the product directly into the warehouses that you guys will be using in the US or within Wayfair's own warehouses. And then we also have fulfillment services as well, drop shipping the orders or supporting in the shipping and delivery for both the large bulky products and the various different types of furniture. So this is an example of some of the different logistics services that Wayfair offers. I won't go too deep into each of these because I know there's a lot here, but some of the great potential for new suppliers from Turkey working with Wayfair and being able to help with this are our ocean freight and Castlegate forwarding, we call it. So basically getting your product from Turkey into the US, getting it to the warehouses there. And then we also have our Wayfair delivery network, which really focuses on those large oversized products. We have our own fleet of trucks and employees across the US who will bring the product either from your warehouse or ours directly to the customer, and then a number of unique delivery options. So our CEO loves to talk about that. If you order a hot tub on Wayfair or a big pergola for your backyard, you can go ahead and order it on Wayfair. You'll get it in 2 days and it will deliver it exactly for where you want it. A great ease of experience for the customer and less of a headache for the supplier. And then to your question around returns as well, this is a little bit of a workflow of how the journey of the product will go. But most importantly, if it does arrive to the customer, even though it may be a beautiful, perfect, undamaged product, sometimes they change their mind. And so Wayfair has returns options where suppliers are able to receive their returns back if they want to resell. Maybe they end up getting sent to Brazil, to a new market, or we're able to have the returns come back to Wayfair, and we can help handle those on our side as well. So both of those options are available to you. Couple of just quick highlights around the benefits. Some for the customer specifically, we have this logistics allows us to enable really great availability, speed of delivery to the customer, benefits across making sure that their product is arriving as they intended and without damage. And then for you all as the suppliers from Turkey, ease of use to get into the US market and make sure that your products are flowing smoothly without having to iron out each of the different details across the logistics element. I know we're tight on time, so that's the headline from the Wayfair and the US side.
Perfect, perfect. Thanks so much. So I'm comforted about the logistics. So you basically take care of everything.
Yeah.
And you've think thoroughly all of the processes, you know, and it will give us a lot of comfort not dealing with the, you know, all the complexities of the supply chain and the returns, etc. So
Yeah.
So that we can focus on the product quality and the, you know, marketing side.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions from the audience? Okay, one over there.
I want to ask my question for you know the domestic market in Brazil, well, and now you see Turkey. And as a Turkish company, if you want to export some goods, from Turkey to Brazil, which categories, which specific categories has better chance to sell in Brazil? I'm wondering your personal opinion. Can you tell us, for example, at least one category, please? Thank you.
Okay.
Quickly.
I can start. So there's a KPI which I consider very important in terms of you know, making the product feasible when you sell, which is the size of the product divided by the average order value. Whatever you have as a category that has a higher relation on those two variables, you'll be able to compete in Brazil, considering the fact that logistics will impact the cost on one side. On the other side, you have a lot of competitors offering assortments all over the marketplace. So those are the differentials that I would suggest you to take a look into it, and then you will easily know if you'll be able to sell luxury items, fashion, or some other categories. Okay?
The KPIs.
The KPI, so the size of the item, which is basically the space you occupy in the distribution center and also the truck. So the cost of warehousing and freight reflects over that, divided by the AOV or the opposite way. Okay? So the AOV is the average order value. How much money do you spend in a drop size of 1 or 2 items per order? And then you divide the order size, the order amount, divided by the, you know, the CBM, which is the space that occupies. Okay?
In Turkish we say yükte hafif, pahada ağır. I don't know in translation.
No.
But less bulky, high AOV. So.
An example. How is the value of a little piece of diamond, and how is decided the take of the truck? Nothing. No. How is the size to I don't know a water box, 5 liters,
Yeah.
and how is the price, the value of the product? That is the KPIs that you have to analyze.
Yeah.
To give you 2 different extreme examples.
All right. That makes the panel today. Thanks for joining. I think we'll be around afterwards once we put out. Otherwise, they will kick out us from the.
She's already.
Yeah. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For everything, for coming from
Thank you.
all the way
Thank
from
you.
Brazil.
Thank you so much.
I think we can listen you all day long, but we have other guests and panels. Thank you so much for our moderator and for our speakers. Thank you.